This tiny white crystal sitting in your kitchen right now, it once caused wars. It once made men slaves. And for thousands of years, it was literally worth more than gold. This is the story of salt, and it is far darker than you ever imagined. For most of human history, keeping food fresh was a matter of life and death. There were no fridges, no freezers, no preservatives. If your meat rotted, your family starved. And then humans discovered something remarkable. When you rub salt onto meat or fish, it doesn't rot. Salt pulls out all the moisture. Bacteria can't survive. The food stays good for months.
Salt didn't just preserve food. Salt preserved human civilization. Suddenly, armies could march for weeks with food that didn't spoil. Ships could sail for months without starving. Civilizations could survive winters they never could before. Because salt was so essential and so rare in many parts of the world, it became one of the first forms of currency. In ancient Rome, soldiers were sometimes paid in salt instead of money. In fact, the English word salary comes directly from the Latin word salarium, which means salt payment. Think about that. Every time someone asks you, "What's your salary?" they are literally asking, "How much salt are you worth?"
In ancient Africa, salt was traded gram for gram with gold. Equal weight, equal value. Salt was so powerful that entire trade routes were built just to move it. Entire cities grew rich simply by sitting along those routes.
But where there is power, there is control. And governments throughout history figured out something very clever. Tax the salt, control the people. In ancient China, salt taxes funded entire empires. In France, the brutal salt tax, called the gabelle, was one of the biggest reasons ordinary people rose up in the French Revolution. They weren't just angry about bread, they were angry about salt.
And then, in 1930 India, a skinny man in a white robe decided to fight the most powerful empire on earth. His weapon? A walk to the sea. Mahatma Gandhi led 240 miles on foot to the ocean, just to pick up a handful of salt from the water. It was illegal. The British had made it illegal for Indians to collect their own salt.
That single act of peaceful rebellion, called the Salt March, shook the British Empire to its core and ignited India's independence movement. A handful of salt, an empire begins to fall.
Today, salt costs almost nothing. A full kilogram? Less than the price of a single text message. We sprinkle it without thinking, we spill it without caring. But for most of human history, that tiny crystal was the most fought over, most taxed, most valuable substance on Earth.
One last fact before you go. The human body cannot survive without salt. Your heart, your brain, your nerves, they all need it. We didn't just choose to value salt. Our bodies made us. If you want more stories like this, subscribe now, because trust me, you haven't seen anything yet.